Hello everyone. First off, I want to thank everybody for checking out my channel. So in this video, I'm going to build a 6 foot by 6 foot hatchling rack. I'm using this 6-quart shoebox style tub. It's 12 shelves high for a total of 108 tubs. So the first step in this build is going to be routing out a channel in my wood to run my heat cable for a heat source for my reptiles. So I got my router here. I have all my wood routed out. I'm using melamine for this build. I wouldn't recommend it for anything other than a rack. So my next step here is I'm going to attach some spacers. I got a few boards and a few bins mocked up just to make sure everything's sliding well. This stuff does like to flex over time, so putting some spacers in there really helps. So my next step here is to attach the spacers. So here I go. I'm going to measure 23 inches out. That's going to give me enough room to fit 3 bins on the outside and 3 bins in the middle. So I'm going to be drilling some pilot holes. This drill bit is a countersink drill bit, so I'm able to get my screws flush with each level. Very important to do, because this stuff does like to split. So I'm going to repeat this process 23 more times. Here I've got a few shelves with the spacers attached. Just got them mocked up to make sure everything is sliding well. Everything's looking good so far. So I'll continue the process. I've got all my individual shelves assembled, and I'm ready to start putting the rack together. The next step, I have to start attaching the heat cable. Going to start attaching my heat source. In this case, it's a heat cable. I have my foil tape. I'm just going to tape it down on the first shelf. Here's what it looks like when it's done. Got my heat cable, got my foil tape, Ready to move on, start assembling the rack. To attach the first couple boards, I just lay it on its side, makes it a lot easier. I've got my jig there to make sure it's square. Again, I'm going to drill a pilot hole with a countersink. Forgot to open my screws. So I'm using a 1 5/8 inch screw. Everything's looking square. I'm going to attach the first shelf. It's going to continue the process. I'm installing my second shelf. I've got my heat cable laid down, and I'm just going to set the shelf right on top of there. I'm actually assembling this upside down, so this is the second from the top shelf. And once it's down there, I'm just going to force the heat cable into my pre-routed groove. I have a few shelves put together, just checking to make sure everything's still sliding well. So these are my spacers. I'm using additional spacers besides the two that are attached. Clamp the one to the side where the heat cable is coming from. This helps hold it in place. Again, just running my heat cable first, throwing it down there flat, and setting the shelf right on top. I have all my shelves assembled. Second to last step here, I have to make a wheelbase with casters just so I can move this thing around because it is very heavy. So here's my wheelbase. I just built this out of 2x4s. Pretty simple construction. I'm going to attach that to the top, and then I'm going to attach some casters to it. Final step here is I'm going to put some stops on here so I can't push the bins out the back and have the babies escape. I did end up actually moving these down a little bit lower to be even with the shelves. Didn't record that, but this gives you a good idea what I'm doing. So here's a look at the completed project. I have it flipped up right. The only thing I have left to do is put a toe kick down there at the bottom. I didn't have a board for that. I'll add that later. The other thing I have to add is a thermostat. Never run something like this without a thermostat. I have a ZooMed one. I don't film putting that on. Maybe I'll show that in an update video. But everything is sliding very nice. Minimal gaps, just enough for a little bit of airflow, but no snakes will be able to escape. Thanks for watching.